Yeah, Ace Attorney.
I mean, you could check the history.
That I can. I don't know if the history will be that extensive. That's not the history button. Oh, right, it's Xbox buttons. The court hereby resumes the trial of Ryunosuke. I know it actually does have the history. That's nice of them. Probably not like all the history, but yeah. It's just been a little bit. Didn't we also find out that the undercover cop guy, it's never explained in-game why he has what he has where he coughs up blood, but it's like there's something in the air that was like we did no he has an allergy that we didn't know existed or something like that.
Was that like a bit we did?
No, I think wait, was that not you who said that?
I don't think so. Is that like a was that a did you
That
get
might
like
have
a
been
comment?
something I saw. Like I remember. Oh, maybe that was Big Yellow actually, because he's also played through the Ace Attorney games.
There's no way they just have a character coughing up blood with no explanation,
Yeah,
right?
I think he was. The explanation is that he has an allergy to something, and I forget what it is. And at the time that the game was like made, they didn't know that allergy existed. So he's just miserable and coughing up blood from like sneezing so much.
Okay. And they never explain. I mean, how does anyone know that that's how it is then? That they don't explain it?
I just remember that this was a thing that someone mentioned, and I don't know if it was you, a meme, or Big Yellow. So
Okay.
I think it would be very funny if it was you and you completely forgot.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Sometimes I forget stuff, and I'm like, "There's no way I forgot that," and it turns out I did. But there's no way I forgot that.
Yeah, it feels like a hard thing to forget.
It's a very specific thing. If you mentioned it, I would have remembered.
Prosecutor Ouchie, have you managed to subpoena the witness?
Yes, Your Excellency, against all odds. And thanks to a certain young stripling, like a chicken tender, the prosecution is now under rather painful scrutiny from the government.
Sorry.
Let the government scrutinize. That's their job. It's nothing to worry about.
It's highly unlikely that the good relations we formed with Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed.
Ah, yes, the good relations we forged. That's what happened.
You still get nothing to worry about when the new treaty breaks down and our nation founders.
Again, terribly sorry.
If the friendship between our nations is really so fragile, then the treaty isn't worth the paper it's written on. You really have nothing to worry about, Ryunosuke. Also, in about 40 years, this shit isn't gonna matter either way.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Listen, Prosecutor Ouchie, there's going to be not just one, but 2 world wars.
What?
A secret trial, anxiety over some foreign government's opinions, a bungled investigation, missing witnesses. Is this what our nation's justice system is? Is this the Supreme Court of Japan or of England?
Shut up, you jumped up rookie boy! You and your friend know nothing of the situation our nation finds itself in. By aligning ourselves with this great world power, we'll become strong. Diplomacy has never been more critical. Steady political maneuvering is what will secure our futures.
I want you to understand that at this time period, I know you know this already. This is never on anyone's mind until Matthew Perry came and swung his big fat cannon cock at everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no one in Japan wanted this. They were so secular and, like, removed from everything. They didn't want any of this shit.
Speaking of, apparently, the doctor responsible for killing Matthew Perry pleaded guilty in court like a week ago.
Huh. Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah. The current Matthew Perry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chandler, yeah.
Yeah. That guy. A real shame that. I don't know why he did that. That's kind of messed up.
It might have been a mistake. I don't know.
Might have been malpractice, yeah.
Because I think it was like an OD.
Yeah. I won't deny that I'm no expert. I'm just a student, and one who could arguably study harder too. But standing here now in our Supreme Court, there is one thing that I feel very strongly. A country that fails to uphold the truth in its justice system is a country with no future at all.
Well said, Ryunosuke, despite the wide-eyed look of terror.
You little brats!
Me at the cookout.
Thank you, Council. This court is the pinnacle of our nation's justice system and exists solely for the pursuance of truth. Sorry you go to cookouts that only have little brats. With that in mind, this trial will now resume with the next witness taking the stand. The visiting students from Great Britain, Miss Jazeel Brett.
Yes. Your Excellency!
Oh, I love that hat. Oh my god, that is wonderful.
That looks like neck pain waiting to happen, but it is a very good hat.
Well, what a delight it is to welcome such a fine gentlewoman to Japan, and from such a distant land.
She literally feathered one of the queen's swans and put it on her head.
Yeah.
Tea! Someone bring English tea! In England, no discussions take place without tea. Is that true?
No idea.
So, ahem. Could we possibly trouble you to state your name and occupation for the court?
Now, what do you think? Is she going to be a gentlewoman, or is she just going to, like, scream obscenities and act uppity?
I think she's gonna be a gentlewoman.
Of course. My name is Sotaro Hosonaga. I've been working undercover as the head waiter at Le Carnivale.
Yes, we know all about you already.
Inspector Hosonaga, where are your manners? In England, it's always ladies first. Is that true?
No idea. More importantly, a little earlier today, you said something to me. You said your powers of observation are the one thing you're sure of.
Oh, yeah, I think I did, didn't I?
Yet your description for this amazing sight was simply a woman.
Well, yeah,
Are you
Kazuma. Well, what'd you want me to say, huh? Describe the fucking hat? Oh, yeah, I guess I could have done that.
Sorry, Ryunosuke, but powers of observation aside, your powers your powers of description are sorely lacking.
Guilty.
So, dear lady, once again, if we may trouble you for your name and occupation, please.
You don't get to see my eyes. Oh shit, she put on the mask. I was saying that because the brim was like almost at her nose.
That would be a problem, wouldn't it? Does anyone here know how to speak English?
I'm terribly sorry, dear lady, but... What?
This is a really good way to represent like how English would, you know, appear or like feel to like people who don't speak it.
Yeah. It's also in cursive, which is weird.
You know, uppity British people, 1900.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. You could literally just, like, put text from the Canterbury Tales and it'd be just about as understandable. The lady says her name is Jazeel Brett. She comes from London, England. She's a visiting research student, currently enrolled in Yume University's medical facility.
Oh my, what a rare treat to hear the dulcet tones of the delightful language of the British people.
I can't believe the game is making me say this shit.
I'm afraid I don't understand a word you said, but it was as beautiful as a hummingbird's song.
As far as I can tell, the detective is translating her words faithfully enough.
Yeah, I agree. You have no idea what she's saying, do you? No. You'll obviously do fine in England, Cosima. Her English doesn't rattle you at all, does it?
Nor you. You've clearly been paying attention in your English classes, Ryunosuke.
No, I didn't. Like, if it was like that, and then, like, I'd understand, like, a phrase or, like, a couple words, then yeah, but no. The court thanks the beautiful lady for taking the stand. Now, if we may trouble you to confirm something, Miss Brett. 3 days ago, at a restaurant called Le Carnaval, a grim murder took place. The court has been led to believe that you were dining there with the victim, Dr. Wilson, at the time. Is that correct? Hosunaga. Hey, Hosunaga. Hosunaga? Hosunaga. Womp, 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 womp. She says yes. This could take some time.
So even though she's studying here in Japan, she...
No. Oh, goodbye, Emily. Oh. Wait. Oh, maybe she didn't disconnect. Maybe she got interrupted. Okay. Oh shit, my Zappos at work Protolus insult credit. The fuck does that mean? Hi Ross, we would like to remind you about Protolus insult credit available if you have not already utilized it. This credit is available on your enrolled account and is for free pair of Protolus insoles. Yeah, I think this is, it's like an insole and step thing for my shoe, so at work, so I don't break my leg across 20 years of lifting boxes or some shit. Something like that. Oh, shit. Forgot clicking would advance the text. Damn. Well, it's okay. Because in the sidebar, you can start watching something better.
Gone like, oh.
There we go. Perfect.
Executor is getting used more this SPL than last
yeah,
year's
that's
SPL.
the third. What?
Man, I went to all that effort to get that up. Hey, what's up?
What effort?
Oh, you disconnected for a bit, so I set up a video on the sidebar.
Oh, yeah, that's the third time my computer has crashed today.
Oh, no.
The first two times were like this morning, and then it was fine all day, and then here we are.
Hopefully it's not like overheating or like a fan issue or something.
I mean, it's gotta be something like that. To be fair, I do need to clean up the fans desperately,
Okay,
so maybe
yeah,
I'll do that
might be it.
tomorrow. Anyways, I don't know if it picked up, but I was saying, so even though she's studying here in Japan, she can't speak any Japanese.
Yeah, you got through like half that line before I cut you out.
Nice.
And she said this. Of. I wonder if anyone's ever translated this.
It's probably... I don't know if it's even legible.
She'd like to apologize for disappearing from the scene. She says that it was due to making a presentation at the university, so she had to leave immediately.
Interesting. When you're the one who engineered her escape...
I was just following special orders from the Bureau.
Speaking of World War II.
Well now, dear lady, would you be so kind as to cast your eyes over this photographic print?
Oh, I got your joke.
Seeing as you were so unfortunately present at the scene of the crime, could it be that your resplendent eyes caught sight of the wicked perpetrator, perhaps?
It is a fucking mood to, like, flower and flirt your words with the person who has no fucking clue what you're saying. Apparently it was a very frightening and sorrowful sight. Do you mean to say... Yes, it would appear the lady did witness the crime. The very moment when the accused, standing right there in this courtroom, shot the victim in cold blood. Order! Order in the court!
Did you hear that, Your Excellency? Here we have an absolutely conclusive witness statement.
Well, it looks like it's clear now. Clear who our real enemy is.
It's me, right? Unfortunately, I'll have to ask you all to formally testify, if you please. Kindly tell the court the exact nature of this frightening and sorrowful sight you described. Hosunaga. Hosunaga. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. It was unforgettable. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beefsteak. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor, and they got into a fierce argument. Then, not long afterward, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. Yes! No, I didn't have any kind of argument with the professor at all.
Quiet, you filthy wretch. Look at you, you black-hearted blackguard, and look at this snow-white angel. I'm sure even a dark-minded scoundrel like you can imagine whose words the court is going to believe.
You're still making the same mistake, Ryunosuke. You mustn't blurt out when you're goaded like that. That's a lesson you need to learn.
But he's so annoying. Of course, I was at the scene as well. I took statements from this young lady and the two witnesses who testified before and reported back to the bureau. It was decided that Miss Brett was not involved, so I let her go.
The testimonies of the last two witnesses were completely worthless, however.
Well, even so. On the day in question, the lady was wearing the same outfit as she is today. As you can see, there is nowhere about her person where she could conceal a firearm.
The swan's ass.
Just like, you know, under the hat. Maybe that's why she covers her eyes. Maybe her eyes are like two pistol, like, holes. Bang, bang. Maybe her boobs are guns. I would think she could hide a gun almost anywhere in that outfit if she wanted to.
Unless and until the precise location where the witness is to have a hidden weapon can be shown, this is moot.
There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. Those are the witness's own words on the matter. This is ridiculous. If I was allowed to lift up her dress, I could prove it. Ryunosuke, you're not allowed to say that.
You can't be saying that, white baby.
Oh, no.
Don't think about doing anything rash, Ryunosuke.
But I didn't fire the gun I picked up. There must have been another gun that day.
You're right about that, which means this lady was hiding a gun somewhere.
Surely she wouldn't have brought it with her into the courtroom, right? And she would have just
That would
stowed
be
it somewhere.
absurd.
That would be ridiculous.
Yes, that's what we have to prove now. And to do so, we will need to pull her testimony apart. Only evil women smile.
The defense may now cross-examine the witness. See, that's when, like, when people ask women to smile more, what they want is for them to be more evil, because they're into it. Oh, yes, Your Excellency.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
Oh.
Oh, it doesn't let you press her fucking English.
Yeah. It would be funny, but it'd be kind of pointless. He was unable to eat, you say? And that was because he just had a tooth removed at the Hada Clinic, right? That's right. You're supposed to actually check with the witness before answering.
Was Miss Brett aware of that fact?
It seems so, yes. She'd heard that the professor was to have some dental treatment. So that would mean that it was you who ate the steak pictured here. Is that right, Miss Brett? That's right, yes. The print you have there shows the table exactly as it was left after the horrifying events. Exactly as it was left?
Dear me, what a harrowing experience! To have traveled to a distant island on the far side of the world and be embroiled in such a tragic incident. Have no fear, my dear lady. I swear I will crush the evil fiend that has subjected you to this terrible plight.
So the victim, Dr. Wilson, had nothing to eat or drink at all. Me on Adderall.
That's right. Other than some carbonated water. Bottled water. Just water? Yes, the professor was unable to eat, but he had been given permission to drink water. I don't know if carbonated water counts. And actually, it's probably fine.
I don't care if it counts or not. It's rancid. Get it out of here.
Carbonated water's okay. I drink a lot of seltzer water.
Look,
well, I go into periods of doing so.
Flat water, wonderful. Carbonated drinks, wonderful. Like they have sugar in them and shit. But if you carbonated water just has this fucking taste to it that is just horrible.
Oh, you don't like burning your mouth while drinking your water?
No, I like that. I love when like soda like burns my mouth, and I do like that about the carbonated water. What I don't like is the flavor of it. It like has this, I don't know, it has this taste to it that like you can only get rid of by adding like a bunch of sugar to it.
Fair enough. So it appears that the diners toasted their lunch with a glass of water each. Does that mean you don't like diet soda, or is like the aspartame like kind of offset that?
I mean, I would rather drink diet soda than carbonated water, but if you put me in a gun with a diet soda, a carbonated water, and a gun, and you said put one of these three things in your mouth, let me tell you, it wouldn't be the diet soda.
They each raised a glass of carbonated water.
What do you think, Ryunosuke, about the witness's last statement and her taste in water?
It's incredibly meaningful because only evil people drink carbonated water.
Exactly.
That last statement
the slap
Miss Brett. Yeah, it's so great. Miss Brett has a profound bearing on this case.
Well, well, how fascinating. Do tell us, what is this profound bearing?
Alright, Kazuma, tell us about her profound bearing. What?
The significance of the statement will become apparent when the time is right. The defense calls for the witness's last statement to be formally added to the testimony.
Well, sidestepped, counsel.
Very well. Miss Brett, kindly repeat what you just said to be added to your official testimony. Gladly,
I thought that was her talking because her mouth or her face moved. I was like, what the fuck?
That was brilliant, Kazuma. I'm gonna remember that one.
Which one?
The significance will become apparent when the time is right. I could really use that phrase.
I'd hope there are some more useful tips you're picking up from this experience than that, Ryunosuke.
He doesn't know. That's my whole catalog of weapons.
That's all I do. So check the evidence. Is it like the photo only having one glass or something?
That's probably it. Oh, I'm gonna press it again. Wrong button. So both you and the professor drank this carbonated water, did you? Yes. Being the waiter, I poured the 2 glasses myself. I clearly remember doing so. Except you're actually a detective.
And the beef steak. That was for you, Miss Brett.
The lady says that she'd heard it was not customary to eat beef here until Japan opened its doors to the world. Yes, that's true. What a frightful place, is the lady's opinion.
So fucking real, actually.
I've heard it's not customary to eat sashimi in Great Britain. Now that's frightful. Tell me you don't just catch fish, cut it up, and go...
Every country has its own cuisine. As long as people have food to eat, what does it matter what it is? Oh wait, we're talking about British people. Never mind.
True, come to think of it. The first time I tried carbonated water was much more of a shock than the first time I tried beef. I nearly bled out. But anyway, back to this witness's statement. Somehow I feel like there's something out of place in what she's saying.
We need to pounce on even the slightest thing now.
That is a great face, by the way.
From Kazuma Ryunosuke.
Ryunosuke.
The one that he had, yeah.
Yeah, he just goes like...
Because you never know what might lead us to our goal. Our goal of turning this trial around. Whee! That's me on a merry-go-round.
Understood, Kazuma. What?
I didn't take any Ritalin today.
That'll help us come up with better arguments. Guaranteed.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so let's look at the picture. We still didn't do that?
God damn it.
Girl.
I don't remember the...
You know, if you ever want me to play through Parsec,
Oh, come on, there has to be a skip button. Wait, was that it? Hold up. Oh, that's the auto button. No, we can't have an auto button. God, it's so slow. At least we'll get to see him do the face again.
yeah.
Alright. 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 Is it RB?
It's in the bottom right. It's in the bottom
There it is.
right.
Okay. Alright, let me just make sure. That doesn't tell us.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
that
only one
does,
glass. Yeah, it's a little weird.
Yeah.
Unless he fell with his glass, but then it'd be like spilled, or it'd be on the ground, or it'd be mentioned. Yeah.
Yes!
Yes! That's it!
It's like now that you point out the face.
Let me just confirm something, please. It's to do with this photographic print. Okay, controller.
Wow.
Whatever
Getting
you
some
say.
major screen share lag here, I think.
Okay, there it goes.
Oh, wait.
Wait, hold up.
Yeah. Oh, was the game lagging?
No, my controller just decided it didn't want to work anymore. It's been doing that a lot lately. Okay, I guess we're playing with the keyboard and mouse.
Great, now I have to figure out all the buttons again.
That's right. Just a short while ago, you spoke of this print showing the victim's table at the crime scene. That it was exactly as it was left. Ooh, space works. All right, that's good. That's good. That is correct, the lady says. Well, it's odd. Very odd.
Dear me, what's odd is the defense's inability to express itself.
Ryunosuke, what is it about the that looks odd to you?
Well, obviously, it's the cheers.
The cheers?
Miss Brett
It's
just
a
told us
TV
that she
show.
and the professor said cheers over a glass of water. But if that's true, there should be 2 glasses on the table, not 1. Ah. You're quite right, Counsel. There's only 1 glass pictured here. We drank out of the same glass.
Supposed to be impressed by this nitpicking over minutiae. What possible difference does the presence or absence of a glass make on the case?
Minutiae, you say? Could it be that the detective here removed a glass from the table to conceal the lady's presence?
Of course not. I would never do something so reckless. But there should have been 2 glasses on that table. Or are you going to try to tell me you can clink with only 1? Kind of? Your finger? You're right. I certainly took 2 glasses to the table. Inspector, what did the lady just say? It would seem that it was Miss Brett who took the glass from the table. What? It was all so terrifying, everything that happened. I panicked and thought I should try to hide that fact that I'd been there at all. So says Mrs. Stewart. Good gracious.
Sorry. There, as I assured the court before, this is of no consequence at all.
Oh, please.
We must remember that this student had just murdered this lady's luncheon companion before her very eyes. Who could blame her for concealing a glass or 2 in her state of disarray?
Concealing it where? Didn't we just say that she doesn't have pockets? That's absurd.
I ate it. Oh, really? So do we take it that you are now going to accuse this vulnerable, young, and beautiful woman of mischief?
Okay,
I would
but
not
to be
describe
fair...
murder as mischief. What?
Well, I was gonna say that mischief is, like, one of the most attractive traits in a woman. So.
Actually, yeah, I guess if a woman did murder somebody and she described it as mischief, that would be rather...
I would get in her DMs and fumble her immediately, yeah.
This can't be put down as mischief, though, at least in a court of law.
I'd like to know exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene.
She says, oh yeah, that's what you're into, is it? It would seem that she slipped it into a small handbag she was carrying. A handbag, you say? Yes, Your Excellency. A small handheld pouch commonly carried by well-to-do women in England.
So the beautiful lady has very graciously explained how and why she removed the glass from the scene now. However, the fact remains that this glass has absolutely no bearing on the case. The student has been trying to confuse the court with logical reasoning, but in the end it comes to nothing. No more pretentious accusations. You have wasted enough time already.
Indeed. The lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed this glass. I think henceforth we can consider the matter to have no bearing on this case. Counsel for the defense, are you in agreement? This might be one of my favorite
Bless
judges,
you.
honestly. He's like so polite.
Bless
Bless
you.
you, Allie.
Rosa says bless you. Allie says,
Oh. Well, I don't know, really.
If you want to pursue this matter further, you're going to need to show that it has some deeper significance.
Yeah, you're right. So she took the glass away in her handbag. There's a deeper significance there. It's...
A handbag.
Yeah. It's a handbag. Wait. The lady put the glass in her handbag, you say?
Yes, do try to keep up. It's already been explained to the court that all English gentlewomen carry handbags for small items.
Well,
I wish
wait,
I was a
wait,
small
wait.
item.
A little while ago, Miss Brett stated the following. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. It is wine glass shaped. It could not carry gun, but perfect for glass. But what she forgot to mention was her handbag, in which it would be perfectly possible to conceal a gun. You're right. Raggy.
Well done, partner. I had a feeling you'd pick up on that too, but I decided not to say anything because, fuck you.
What are you insinuating, you vile blackguard?
It's really very simple. The gunshot was heard when the defendant picked up the gun from the restaurant floor. As he didn't fire that gun, we can deduce there must have been another firearm at the scene. The true murder weapon, if you will.
I will not. You can't seriously be suggesting.
Inspector Hosanaga? Yes. Did you or did you not search Miss Jazil's Brett's handbag on the day of the murder? No, sir, I did not. As I thought. In other words, another gun, the one that was actually used to kill the professor, could have been hidden in Miss Brett's handbag.
No!
Order, order, order.
What is the meaning of this, Inspector?
The meaning of what? Prosecutor, ouchie.
On earth, did you not have the lady open her handbag and show you the contents at the time? Thanks to your bungling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations.
Brilliant work, partner. Now we have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask.
Do you think so, Kazuma? Well, what a sorry situation. Clearly you have no faith in the police.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yes. As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting. Simply because it was unnecessary. I have faith in Gumshoe, that's about it. And I guess Francisca.
Yeah.
Unnecessary in what way? Oh, to thank the student lawyer, really. I have a piece of evidence here that I'd completely forgotten about. This photographic print. This print is of a photograph that I thought would be prudent to take immediately after the shooting. As you can see, it clearly shows Miss Brett's handbag.
what the fuck is on the dude's hand?
We'll worry about that in a sec. Well, I never. You can see right through to what's inside. That's right. Apparently, meshwork bags like these are the height of fashion in London at the moment. So the contents are clearly visible. Exactly. So there was no need to search the lady's handbag. There had been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious. As you can see, there's simply nothing to imply Miss Brett's guilt here. This is a bit of an ass pull. Like, oh yes,
Yeah.
by the way, I had a picture that shows exactly what's in the bag. It's kind of a waste of time. Thank you for helping to prove that, Naruhodo-san. It's like they had another picture to show more of the scene, but they had to have an excuse. Damn, they killed him! Order, order! Inspector Hosonaga, you will submit that print as evidence at once. Certainly, Your Excellency. Nice. I think we've had long enough to cross-examine the witness, counsel. Oh, he's doing the face.
Yeah.
The court has now been shown considerable evidence. As the photographic print just submitted into the court record appears to have no further significance, I'm satisfied there's no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling.
Indeed, and there is only one logical conclusion, that the pathetic rookie slumped over the bench before us is the only possible perpetrator of this crime.
Oh. Just when I thought I was beginning to turn things around, I'm in a worse situation than I was at the start. Kazuma?
I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. Now that the cross-examination of the witness is over, there's no way to force the trial to continue.
What? You mean this is it?
Huh. I must say, you put up quite a fight for a rookie student, but the weak are meat while the strong eat. You are wasting your time. There is no way to defeat true justice. A fact you can chew on to your heart's content, from the inside of your cell.
Buddy, this is like the 1900s. I think he's just being put to death. He's gonna be, like, hung.
What the fuck? Wait, hold on.
This can't be happening. Either that or, like, ritual embalmment. Is that only for samurai? That might all be for samurai.
I think so.
Might be beheaded. Am I really going to be found guilty of a crime that I didn't commit? And Kazuma. His dream of going to study in Great Britain will slip through his fingers. And the dream of him slipping me through his finger... Kazuma.
What?
Is there really no chance now of turning this trial around?
You heard the judge. There's nothing about that last photograph the detective produced that we can contest. Which means there's no basis on which we can argue for the trial to continue.
Very well. I will now proceed immediately to the ruling.
It seems you will be able to report to the British government on time after all.
That smug little...
Ryunosuke Naruhodo, having considered all the evidence placed before me, I hereby find you...
Oh, we did a real slam.
Yeah. Wait, Your Excellency.
Ryunosuke.
I don't think you can rule in this case yet.
This amateurishness is getting tedious. When His Excellency deems that the trial is over, he gives his ruling. That is the most basic protocol of the courtroom.
Your Excellency, just a moment ago, you said this. As the photographic print just submitted appears to have no further significance, there's no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Now that means that if there was a problem with the evidence, some significant detail, I mean, then ruling on the case at this time would be out of the question.
Being straw clutching. Look at this photographic print. All it shows is the handbag the gentlewoman was carrying on the day in question. What the fuck is on that dude's hand? There could be no problem with this evidence.
Record, please submit what out you just said to Dev.
Oh.
You'd better know what you're doing, Ryunosuke.
I understand your objection, counsel. Certainly, the new evidence submitted by the detective has not undergone the court's scrutiny. However, I failed to see how we can glean any new information from this handbag.
My thoughts exactly. Really, the prosecution is becoming tired of this rookie's desperate wheezes.
You know what that might be on his
Sorry,
wrist?
I got pushed on a screen. Swing, I mean. What'd you say?
You know what that might be on his wrist? I think it's sauce from the beefsteak. He'd, like, leaned his hand over the table, like, touched the meat when he, like, fell back and, like... That's my best guess. Could be very wrong.
Could be. It looks like a very specific shape, but...
Yes, I am desperate, but this isn't a wheeze. There's something about this photograph which just doesn't seem right. I feel like I could put my finger on it. Very well, I will grant the defense one final opportunity. I'll even point a red arrow at it to make it more obvious.
What?
But be warned that if I am
Whoa.
unsatisfied by your response here, the trial will be over in the immediate effect. Do I make myself clear? Just gonna beat someone up. Yes, Your Excellency. So take another look at this photographic print Inspector Hosonaga submitted before. You will identify the quote within this print. We see the significant detail to which you have alluded. I mean...
Press
I
R.
just have the R, yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's
Yep.
it, that's it. That's weird. Look at this here. There's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist. That is true. It looks almost like a burn of some description. Oh, maybe.
Dear me, I was pondering what new piffle you would come out with. A bird, you say, on the victim's wrist? Who fucking cares? Clearly that has nothing whatsoever to do with the magnificent lady's handbag.
Yes, that is a burn mark. You are right. Go on, Inspector. The police coroner also noticed it when he was performing the post-mortem examination. It was deemed unrelated to the cause of death, so he didn't notice it in his report.
What did I tell you? In any case, we have no idea when the victim suffered this burn, do we? And no possible way of knowing either.
Now, hang on.
It would be the top right, I think. It's probably the... Oh, you can't. You can't check.
Unable to feel pain. So he might not have actually felt the burn.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
But is that only, like, while he was under the effects of the gas? Probably. No, it did
Check
probably
what?
last for a little bit afterward.
Yeah, we can proceed.
Alright. The more I look at it, the more I find myself intrigued by the curious shape of this mark.
A bullhead.
Kinda does. However, as prosecutor Ouchie points out, unless a firm connection to the case can be shown, I cannot allow any further time to be spent on the precise details of this bird. Excuse me, Your Excellency. It would seem Miss Brett had a lunch appointment with the Dean and other university staff. She would like to know if she may be excused from the stand now.
Oh, of course, dear lady. We shan't hold you up any longer. I'm quite sure His Excellency is about to give his final ruling anyway.
What's your thinking on this, Ryunosuke? Do you believe this burn does have something to do with the case?
To be honest, I'm not really sure. But if I don't keep pushing, then it's all over. So I was thinking I should just keep digging and digging, in the hopes that I might uncover something useful.
Yes, you're right.
I am.
If we can just link that burn to the case, we can do that, we might be able to prise this shutting door back open again.
Just give up, Counsel. You can't possibly hope to do that.
Indeed. I'm afraid that without evidence, I cannot allow you to pursue what little is more than conjecture.
But if we had evidence... Evidence that irrefutably linked the burn on the victim's wrist to the case, then you would allow it.
Well, I would, yes.
To tell the truth, I hadn't noticed that burn. But as soon as you pointed it out, what I did notice was the color draining from Miss Brett's face.
Really?
Downright vampiric.
Wow. I have to find some link between this burn and the case. This is the moment of truth. It's time to find some evidence that proves what that burn really means.
So then, the defense will now present its evidence to the court. The evidence that demonstrates an inextricable connection between the victim's burn and this trial.
Pick the third one. Yeah. So there was like the singeing around the bullet hole, but I guess it's not really shaped like that. There's probably going to be that shape somewhere in one of these. Yep, there it is. Go back to the right on the plate.
Oh. Because yeah. Have you ever had those before? Like it's typical with fajitas. They like bring the plate to you, and it's like sizzling and like super hot.
Yeah.
So he either fell onto that and burned his wrist, or he just didn't feel the pain and just left his wrist on top of the plate. Which also means that's where he was sitting. That's kind of fucking weird.
Yes!
What's this, Counsel? Yet another print?
Yes, Your Excellency. I believe photographic prints are an amazing invention. When we humans look at a scene, we miss things. But in a photograph, things we may have overlooked at the time are recorded forevermore.
Do hurry up, Rookie. What are you trying to say? To inconvenience this poor lady any further really would be quite inexcusable.
Actually, we may need you to stay with us for a little while longer if you don't mind, Miss Brett.
Oh, well, I do mind, so I guess I'll be leaving.
Oh shit, she understands Japanese after all.
Mhm.
You see, it's very clearly visible in this other photograph. How did the victim come to have that unusually shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here, forevermore. What? Oh.
You can't fool me with your little bluffs, boy! If that's your game, then let's see how it plays out. Show the court exactly what you mean. What is it in this photograph that explains the reason for the victim's burn?
That thing.
Yes!
Fuck! The beefsteak.
Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on.
The plate?
Your Excellency, are you alright?
Sorry,
Just the under the table action got a little hot. As you can
Undertale?
see, as you can see, there's an emblem on the plate. I would guess it's some sort of trademark of Le Carnival.
oh.
The emblem on the plate and the victim's burn are exactly the same shape.
Ah!
Ryunosuke, you genius!
You're spot on. Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant. Look at him coming into his own.
But even if that is the case, we can't know if it happened on the day in question or not. It could have been the day before, or the day before that, It most likely happened at some other, unrelated time.
Well, huh.
Objection!
Sadly, Prosecutor Ouchie, the chances of that are extremely slim.
Thanks.
Why? Z.
The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion in the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Osanaga?
I can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly.
But...
Gotta be honest, if I burned myself in a restaurant, I'd probably be really embarrassed and just not show anyone. Like, oh fuck, how'd I manage to get like a bull mark on my hands? Oh, that's permanent. Great. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it
I
wasn't
would
suffered.
say.
I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago. And although it's not a particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense just pointed out. This was no mild burn, that's for sure.
Can you be more specific, Inspector?
Well, let's see. If the plate was at around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds. It's inconceivable that the victim would have let out a scream of pain then. I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I've not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter of Le Carnival, I can testify that without hesitation. Unless you count the screams of, this is very delicious.
When did they
People
say
scream that. But you're a detective, not a waiter.
I know it's
Yes!
I know it's pronounced waiter, but
Yeah,
that'd be funny.
Yeah. There you have it. Something isn't right here. As the detective said, anyone who burnt themselves in a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds would scream in pain. There's no question of that.
And yet, Inspector Hosonaga never heard the professor scream. Not on that day, or any before it.
That's right, and the strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either.
What are you suggesting?
Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his wrist onto the plate for anything like 3 seconds that day.
That would have been beyond careless, I think, Counsel.
And the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the sergeant, the old antique dealer, all of us would, without any question, have heard him scream. Wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Ouchie?
Well, yes, I suppose.
So the question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream?
I almost don't believe it. Ryunosuke, do you think? Like ever?
Can it really be true? I never dreamed we'd arrive at a conclusion like this, but I'm starting to think that maybe we've been led into a terrible trap. There's only one explanation I can think of to make sense of this apparent impossibility. On the day in question, when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson
Already deceased. Was already deceased.
Yes, maybe. But he could have been asleep from the anesthesia.
But the significance is so I'm thinking about this, turning thinking around what makes sense, or not what makes sense, but what would be the most significant here. Him being already deceased means that the body was turned around after the murder, because if he had to be facing the table when he died for this to happen after he was dead.
Well, you could do that
Which
with a
means-
sleeping person as well.
But why? Why would you do that?
Because we have conclusive evidence that he was put under.
Yeah, but that was back at the clinic.
Yeah, so they took his sleeping body from the clinic that hadn't woken up from the anesthesia, brought him in,
Okay, so let's say, for sake of argument, that they fucking Weekend at Bernie's him to the restaurant. Why?
Well, when you say Weekend at Bernie's, that's like a double entendre funny meaning, because, like, he's both dead, but also he's not dead until the end of the movie, and then he dies in, like, 2 minutes after waking up. So it's technically both. He was asleep.
I actually haven't seen the movie.
Yeah. Fuck it, we'll go with was deceased, because that's very much the Ace Attorney answer. No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds. That's clearly impossible. Apart from one particular situation. Counsel, are you suggesting? Yeah, it's only possible if the man was already dead.
Already.
Dead?
Ellipses.
Knowing what we know now, it's the only possible explanation. When the beefsteak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead.
That's madness.
And it just cuts back to him and it's like, oh yeah, shit, that is wrong. He was actually asleep, just kidding. Order, please. Counsel, explain this absurd notion at once. The victim was killed by a gunshot.
That's right. That's absolutely right, Your Excellency. This is just another ridiculous ploy by the rookie student, but clearly he has no grasp of the facts.
No, Prosecutor Ouchie, it's you who has no grasp of the facts.
I beg your pardon.
Then beg. As soon as it became apparent that the victim had suffered that burn while at the restaurant, this whole case was turned upside down. Or have you not grasped that yet? Your Excellency, the court must hear from the witness again. If it's true, as we now believe, that the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard, it's highly likely that Miss Brett knows something about it.
Well, incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. I'm sorry to say, Miss Brett, that you will have to forget your luncheon engagement.
But, Your Excellency...
The justice system in our country may be in its infancy. But rest assured, all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I'm prepared to pass judgment. Thank you, Your Excellency. What was that smile?
Yes, of course. I mean, I'd be delighted to help. Especially if it helps relations between my country and yours.
Miss Brett, you speak Japanese?
Well, of course I do. I am studying in your country, after all.
But then, why have you been speaking through an interpreter just now? Until just now.
I thought it was funny. My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world.
I think, like, when she speaks like that, it's in, like, a standard British accent, but then when she goes full italics, it's, like, hyper-exaggerated English.
I barely have the, like, the brain cells to, like, keep an accent consistent, let alone switch it. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tones as much as possible.
Feel very free
That's
to
racist.
just go full cowgirl.
You can't say that.
Yeah,
It's
well,
fucking racist.
you know, she's British, so.
It's racist. But it seems the men in this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of English gentlemen.
Also.
So I can see that I shall have to lower myself to communicating with you all on your own level.
Oh, it's gonna be all game, isn't it?
Oh, well, you are the epitome of a true English gentlewoman.
He's into it, I knew it.
We are truly honored by this lavish consideration you so graciously afford us.
That felt personal, that on hour.
I see. In that case, Miss Barrett, I will now ask you to testify in your own words, please. About the events leading up to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson.
So we're finally going to hear her own words on the matter. Things are getting interesting, Ryunosuke.
Yeah, I've had just about enough interesting for one day.
Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me. Kid named Poison. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway.
That most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in the Supreme Court's history. Thank you.
Judge. He does it there, Judge.
I hope this is the last time I will have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming tongue. Oh, forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone. Not at all, not at all. It is a delight merely to hear you speak, dear lady.
Everyone in this court is a simp.
His fucking face here would be a very, like, fitting, like, simp emote.
And it seems very clear from your testimony that this boorish talk of the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant. Irrelevant, however you spell it. I will be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what has happened here today. The Minister of Justice? May that irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible. Amen. Inshallah.
Thanks? Is that a prayer there?
Well, you'll have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett, and put up with a cross-examination now. I expect you've noticed that this little bully of a student, as you put it, doesn't miss much.
Hit or miss.
I'm sure I don't need to remind you, counsel, that this will be your final cross-examination in this trial.
Sir, you've said that about 3 times now.
For real this time. If you fail to demonstrate any problems with this witness's testimony, I will be ruling on the case immediately. Is that clear?
Ow.
Why did he do that?
Yes, Your Excellency.
Then you may proceed with your cross-examination.
Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot.
Let's just take a quick peek.
Second one.
Loss of blood from a gunshot to the chest. I passed it. Yep, that is what it said.
If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me.
They didn't mention that anesthesia's new. Could have fucked up the dose. And they wouldn't have recognized that. I'm gonna be so much more, like, critical of the post-mortem reports now, by the way.
Yeah.
Because this, like, nowadays logic and post-mortem reports, they're pretty good with them. Back back in the 1900s, I'd say probably not.
I mean, it's not even an autopsy report. It's literally just like the cop looking at it and going like, ah, yeah, I think that's what happened. Like.
Yeah.
But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway.
Yes!
Yes.
Without leaving a trace.
If someone is shot or strangled or stabbed or thrown from a height, however a person's life is taken, there are always telltale traces on the body.
Quite right, dear lady. +2.
And as our police force has thoroughly examined the body of the deceased, there can be no doubt.
Thanks for the gold, kind stranger.
The dude's to the left. Isn't that right, Inspector Hosonaga?
As I said, I've always aimed for a flawless investigation. There would have been physical traces with all those causes of death, that's true. Maybe there's some other way of killing someone that doesn't leave a mark.
If, heaven forbid, you doubt me, young man, you're going to have to tell everyone how exactly you think the professor did lose his life. Otherwise, I'm afraid your argument falls rather flat, doesn't it?
Oh no, there's the thought, calling such a sweet young lady's innocence into question. On my honour, I, Taketsuchi Ouchi, will cut down any who dare cast such aspersions.
Way of killing someone that leaves no trace.
We need some evidence to back us up here.
Yeah, evidence.
Press a different statement and get evidence. Probably.
Yes!
As you testified before, you were drinking carbonated water, is that right?
Dr. Wilson was only permitted to drink water at that time, if you remember. Which explains why he ordered that drink. Correct, waiter?
Exactly as you say, sir. Although,
Although...
whether or not the professor actually drank any of the water when I delivered the steak to his table, I'm afraid I don't remember that.
Damn you.
Damn you.
I have enough English to understand that, at least. For the benefit of others in the court, it means bless you.
Yeah, I think it means the exact opposite, actually.
Anyway,
Oh. When she has the italics, that's her speaking in English.
yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
Yes!
Yeah, it's written here in the paperwork. Fatal hemorrhage from ballistic trauma.
Oh. Hemorrhage. Yes.
Luckily for all of us, a little burn on the wrist isn't going to kill us. And as there were no other signs of trauma on the victim's body to indicate some other cause of death, it can only have been the bullets from your gun that put an end to this innocent man's life.
But it doesn't make any sense. That burn must have happened straight away when the plate was first falling from the table by the waiter.
Yeah, that's true.
I wonder if in the original Japanese version of this game, if her text was, like, just English.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
That's probably how they did it. But they had to, like, oh shit, we ported the game in English. We have to make it so you can't understand her.
Yeah. If it had cooled even slightly, it wouldn't have been able to make a burn like that. Kind of mixed their voices there for some reason.
And that the victim burned his wrist on the hot plate as soon as it was brought out from the kitchen. Then he must have already been dead at that point. Ho ho ho. Delightfully devilish.
And yet, the fact is that the victim was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Until you're able to show the court evidence to disprove that, this is a complete waste of time.
I concur. Prosecutor Ouchie's right. Alright. Well, I guess now I'm going to press every single bit of information and see if anything new happens. Or I'm just going to have to present something. But his hand was on the searing hot plate for at least 3 whole seconds. You can't have not have noticed.
Do you think so? Let me ask you something.
Sorry.
Ever since I arrived at this courtroom, and even still now, the fly on those unsightly black trousers of yours has been wide open. You can't not have noticed, can you?
Huh? What? Ah!
What fun. You hadn't realized. The dear lady is absolutely right. Put away your hog. As your friend, you've embarrassed me as well as yourself, Ryunosuke.
Come on.
Put
man,
away
I've
your
seen it
hog.
before. Why didn't you tell me?
I thought it was funny. Dr. Wilson was a true English gentleman. He chose unhourable silence over a vulgar scream. Can your tiny brains imagine such a thing? Oh yes, I think my tiny brain can.
Well, I can't.
Anyway.
Do you think he didn't show him zipping up his fly?
He just left it.
Inferior. What do you mean by that?
In the lands of the Great British Empire, the police store everything found at a crime scene for later examination. But in this country, you investigate once and that's the end of it. Isn't that so? Quite right. La Carnival is open for business as usual today, just days after the incident. Exactly, which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost.
What the fuck just happened?
I don't know. It doesn't even occur to your naive detectives to try to preserve the crime scene. I'm trying to be as tactful about this as I can, you understand? A killer blow! The lady is as formidable as she is beautiful.
Amazing. He's actually admitting our police may be flawed. Perhaps Prosecutor Ouchie is finally starting to see sense.
I very much doubt that.
Still, there's something about what Miss Brett just said. There was a moment before, but something didn't seem quite right.
What do you think, Ryunosuke?
I think it's going terribly. No matter how much I press her, I'm not turning up any new information.
Yes, as I suspected. She's a tough witness. We need to find a way to break her testimony, or the cross-examination will be over.
But that would mean I have to find a way. There must be some clue somewhere to help us find a chink in her armor. Hey, Kazuma?
What, Ryunosuke?
There is one thing I noticed, something that's been bothering me.
Bothering you? You mean about Miss Brett?
Well, actually, no. About the person standing next to her, Inspector Hosonaga.
The detective.
Yeah, he seems to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. I was wondering if it might be significant. If it might be able to present an opening, maybe.
Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing her on that last statement one more time.
Well, if you think so, but...
But this time, instead of targeting the woman herself, let's see what we can get out of the detective.
Alright then. I wonder what Cosmo's thinking. Find out soon enough, I suppose, once I put Miss Brett on her last statement again. That seems to be a mechanic in this game, where you just have multiple people on the bench.
Yeah, and it looks like you can swap between them during... Like, this is a tutorial for something, so...
Alright, how do I, like, swap to him?
I think you press, and then halfway through it'll give you the chance.
Okay.
So unfortunately, you're reading all this again.
Sure am. Bothering you? That waiter's bothering you?
Is something bothering you, Queen?
Is there something in my tiny brain that could maybe help you? Click, clack, click, clock. Alright. Let's try it. Oh, wrong button. Yes.
Wait. Do I, like...
Don't know. Just...
Yes, there it is again. Alright, I'll tell me the button prompt. The detective's reaction's just the same as before. Why?
Up until now, the detective has been in the stand with Miss Brett as her interpreter. But things are very different now. For this testimony, the detective is just listening to what the Englishwoman has to say. This could be a golden opportunity.
What do you mean?
When people are actually testifying, they're usually very careful not to let anything slip. However, when they're listening to someone else speak, you'll find they often let their guard down.
You're right. Look at him. He's lost in his own thoughts all alone.
It's time to pursue the man and his train of thought.
Sorry? Pursue?
I'll explain how to do it now, Reinosuke. It's all to do with the witness's marker. A
What?
Sharpie.
Marker.
At this moment, we're focused on Miss Brett, who's the person actually making the current statement. But by moving the marker left and right with add, you can turn your attention to other people in the stand.
He's
Too
calling
bad
me
you have
out on
an
my
ad
attention
blocker
deficit.
installed.
God damn it.
While you're looking at the other witnesses, you'll be able to pursue them with spruce.
This is literally just attention deficit. Someone else is talking, and you just focus on this asshole coughing up blood over in the corner of the room.
If you can catch the person at just the right time, you might uncover some new information to pursue. If you ever notice a strange atmosphere amongst the people in the stand, take a good look around.
Alright then, so first I should move the marker across the AD and focus on the detective. Then pursue him with space and see what's on his mind. Here we go.
Wait.
Press D.
There we go. Exactly. Which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction...
That's still her dialogue.
Oh, it is. Okay.
You have to press space to pursue.
Excuse me. What's the meaning of this? I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to shock you. He really was lost in his thoughts, deeply.
It looked like you were thinking something just now, Inspector. Perhaps having heard what the lady next to you had to say?
If there's something you'd like to say, then please, share it with the court.
What is the meaning of this? It's the delightful Englishwoman who's testifying at the moment.
Donk.
If you can't find fault with her testimony, then the cross-examination should be over immediately.
Oh, is that how it works?
Absolutely not. The detective is in the stand, which makes him a valid witness.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that he's intimately involved in the case. Inspector Hosonaga? Yes. Do you have something to add in relation to the statement just made by Miss Brett? Well, yes. If you don't mind, I would like to speak.
I'm going to fucking kill you.
Oh, should I have said no there? Oops. Well, the lady is right. Our country's police practices are not as modern as those used in Great Britain. Which is why I, Sotaro Hosonaga, always strive to make every investigation I'm involved in flawless.
What do you really mean by that?
I'll tell you what I mean. I won't have evidence lacking on my watch. I'm not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of the crime. It's preserving evidence, you see. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief. I'm not ashamed of what I've done. Crime scene thief.
Well, it looks like the lady's remarks touched a nerve there.
Take this, for example. He just throws it at us. Is that... This is the bottle of carbonated water that I took from the victim's table the day in question. And yes, it's lost all its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago. Emily, don't drink that, it's poison. But it was carbonated water. I don't care what anyone says.
Yes, there's some left in the bottle. I can see it.
One day, our police forces would be among the best in the world. Time is coming. I guarantee it.
I'd be curious to see, like, a ranking nationally of who has the best police in the world in terms of, like, fairness and also, like, getting shit done.
Yeah, it still wouldn't be pretty, I think.
I don't think it'd be Japan, is what I'm going to say to that.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, absolutely not.
Can't say I condone the witness's actions, but I do understand the sentiment. The court will accept a glass of water as evidence. Miss Brett, can you confirm this was indeed the bottle from which you drank on the day of the victim's death?
Yes, it was that bottle.
What was that about? She seemed to avert her eyes when she answered the judge's question. You know... Go back.
I mean, it looks pretty similar.
It's relatively full. That could be like... she could have, like, pretended to, like, drink it after saying cheers.
Yeah.
Poisoned him.
She could have then poured her glass into his glass and then taken the empty glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I'm guessing what happened
while you're in here,
is she poisoned him with the wine, and he shot him. I think.
While you're in here, check the new evidence. See if, like, Kazuma and Ryunosuke have any examines to say about it.
Can't find anything out of place. The label's written in a foreign language that I don't recognize. Do you know what it says, Kazuma?
I think it's French. Bless you.
Bless you.
This must be very expensive water. Bless you.
Bless you. Yeah, but what does it say? That's what I was asking.
Then go to France and ask.
You could just say that you don't know.
Can you rotate it at all?
Probably. I forget how. Not like that.
Nah, maybe we're not getting anything out of this.
I'm gonna drink from it.
Oh, wait, right there.
Is there something on the backside? So this is the last.
Oh, it's
water
just the
drink Dr.
fluid
Lewis never
there.
had.
Looks like there's a little left in the bottle.
It looks like there's a little left in the bottle, although it's just plain water now.
You know, I've been sweating so much, I'm absolutely parched. I'll just have a sip of this to keep me going.
No, Ryunosuke, you can't do that. For one thing, that's evidence. You can't go drinking evidence.
Oh no, you're right. We don't know what might be inside, do we?
You never cease to amaze me, Ryunosuke. In more ways than one. Wink?
He was looking at my fly earlier. Could there be anything else in this water?
What's the matter? You've gone quiet all of a sudden.
I think I might have just worked something out. An interesting possibility. A possibility, if you will.
Pasta. Yes, you gotta present the bottle on the instant death thing. next one, I think.
Yeah.
You got a lot of health.
Yes!
If it's not it, it's not it. Yeah.
What is this? The bottle of water? Actually, there is one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. Well, obviously, I'm referring to poison. Depending on the poison. Some poisons do leave a trace. Foaming at
And
the
some
mouth.
are slow-acting poison. Poison?
On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from this bottle of carbonated water. Bottled water. Could it be that there was poison inside? Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip from his glass? Order, order, order. And on that day, who was sitting at the same table as the professor and able to slip in the poison into his drink? There's only one person who could have possibly done it. Dazil Brett, it was you.
Objection!
This is outrageous to suggest such a thing without a scrap of evidence. You little rookie imbecile. Have you even considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in right now? Have you forgotten that we have only just signed an accord of friendship with the British Empire?
Oh no, a British person killed a British person in a foreign country. Clearly it's Japan's fault. What?
Have you even the vaguest inkling, a Splatoon reference, that your rash accusations could jeopardize the entire treaty?
Kaya reference.
Objection!
I had an inkling.
Oh yeah. This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one individual's guilt with respect to one crime.
What?
The fact that this woman is British makes no difference. We are here to determine the truth.
Grr.
Kagur.
Ahem, if I may. I would silence you forever for this disgraceful attack on the... Damn, she's single. It is you who should be silent. Of course. Dear lady.
Where did that come from? She just snapped.
I'm afraid I may have spoken unfairly before. I offer my most humble apologies.
I'm sorry, my lady. To what are you referring?
I described your police force as inferior. But no matter how inferior they may be, you still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe. The bottle, I mean, Inspector, and whether it contained poison or not.
Well, funny you should say that, actually.
Of
course. You did?
Have you forgotten what my guiding principle is already? I strive for a flawless investigation every time.
I don't believe it.
Naturally, we tested the inside of the bottle and its contents.
And? What did you find, Inspector?
I ordered tests for every toxin that's available in the country at the present time.
In this country.
We could find no trace of poison of any description of the bottle in the bottle of carbonated water, Your Excellency.
Yeah, that is a weird way to phrase that.
What? Are you sure?
The tests were meticulously carried out by the chief coroner himself.
No! Bud's down a lot in this trial. Hope he has another extra life.
I'm very grateful to all you Japanese. You've successfully established my complete innocence in this horrid affair. Thank you.
Oh,
But of course, dear lady, the pleasure was all ours.
that's good. I was so sure.
This can't be right. Everything falls into place if he was poisoned.
Pull a game 3 case 4 and drink the poison to prove that it's poisoned. Technically a game 3 case 1 as well. Thank you, counsel. I think the cross-examination has clarified everything.
As the prosecution has asserted, a shot in the chest from this gun is the only conceivable cause of death. Furthermore, the accused, who by his own admission was holding this weapon, is the only possible culprit. I'm done for. The court wishes to apologize for the great inconvenience that this has caused you, Miss Brett.
Oh no, I'm just glad the matter is resolved.
Before proceeding, I must ask the counsel for the defense. Do you have any further new evidence to present to the court at this point?
Kazuma?
I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. I have nothing more. Well, if you'll excuse me now, I really must be leaving.
Woman?
Ooh.
It's the woman.
Please, wait.
Isn't that...
What is the meaning of this?
Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikotoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense.
Mikotoba? My darkest hour with nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. And in her hand she carried a small package, wrapped in a furoshiki cloth. To be continued.
It's a good place to leave it, I think, for the night.
I was going to make a small package joke, but I felt like that would have been in poor taste. Anyway, good progress. Well, there we are. Yeah, good progress. Oh my, this is a long trial 1. This reminds me of trial 1 from 5 and 6. God, 6's trial 1 goes on for so long.
Yeah, totally.
Remember how short trial 1 game 1's trial 1 was?
It's literally like 2 cross-examinations.
Yeah. There's like no desperation. Phoenix is just like, yeah, this happened, and this happened, and this happened. Anyway, you're guilty. No! But yeah. When we come back next time, we will maybe finish the trial. Or maybe not.